All right, we're sitting down. It's FDT number 8. This is awesome. We had a song contest. Shelly, you headed up a song contest for the intro of FDT, which may or may not be at the beginning of this episode quite yet because the voting was yesterday as this releases. So.
Yes, ends yesterday. So I don't know if we'll have the winner picked. But right now we have several amazing submissions to choose from. So thank you to everybody that participated.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, they win $100.
Yeah, I got to hear a few of them and wildly impressed, honestly. I love them. I knew something like this would come out of it, but at the same time, I was like, I wonder how many people are going to submit. Is there just going to be like 1 or 2? And you're like, check these 4 or 5 out. I'm like, what the heck? This is way better than I would have ever imagined. So, you're talented, Fort Dodge. Thank you.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So we got number 8 here, and we cleaned up a little bit of housekeeping there at the beginning. But who are we sitting down with today?
Today, and I'm not going to say I'm very excited because I noticed that I say that in every episode. So
you're not excited?
So today I am honored.
Honored.
Wow.
I am honored to have these two individuals with us today. We are focusing today on 2 of our business members for Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association, supporters of not only the organization itself, but live music specifically.
Absolutely.
And I thought that these 2 entities provide something unique in the community. So I thought it would be kind of fun to have these contrasting,
Absolutely.
I don't know, vibes.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2 different venues, I guess if you want to call them venues, because they are venues.
Mm-hmm.
They're bars and establishments and breweries and restaurants and things like that, but they're venues.
They are.
Yeah, because I think that's the funnest thing about Fort Dodge is there are a couple like dedicated venues, but these businesses that multi-purpose and also invite musicians in, it's such a blessing. That's what makes this town like the music hub that it is.
For sure.
Because you think about like big cities and they have, whatever, your lefties or whatever, that's dedicated music right there. But like these places are blending everything in so well. Mm-hmm. It's such a blessing to have.
Is.
I mean, not every town is like that.
No.
That's the point of the podcast.
That's why it's FDT.
Yes.
So today we have business owners from Eagle's Hideout Lounge, Miss Gena, who everybody knows.
Absolutely.
And then who everybody also knows is from Shiny Top Brewing, Mr. Shiny Top himself, Mr. Nate.
Hello there.
This is great.
Yeah.
So,
usually I let them introduce themselves, but I did that today.
Yeah. I mean, usually we wait till the end of the episodes for embarrassing stories, right?
But we're not doing that today?
Can I start off with one?
Yes.
All right. I was waiting to tell this somewhere. So, Gena, do you ever remember the first time you and I met? Okay, this is really great.
I do not.
So it was one of the first Monsters balls, right? And I park in the parking lot across the street. I'm like, all right, let's go up here. And you were coming in with like a whole bunch of stuff to like haul upstairs. And because, it's your night off, but you're working. That's how you work. So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. There's lady hauling stuff upstairs. You want to help me with this? And I was just like, why?
Oh.
And you were just like, just help me. It's not going to be that big of a deal. And I was like, okay, fine. So I carried like the boxes upstairs for you. And we walk in and the guy's just like, all right, it's like whatever, $5 to get in. And you were just like, no, he's with me. It's cool. And I felt about this big because I gave you.
You're a jerk.
Yeah. And I gave you guff about just helping you like a normal person should. And then you like let me in for free. And I was just like, oops. I felt so bad. So kill him with kindness.
That is
If it makes you
embarrassing.
feel better, I didn't hold on to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. She does not remember.
But now she's kind of pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah. So there we go. There's my embarrassing story. I haven't told one on the podcast yet, but there's mine.
Yeah, that is
I think about
embarrassing.
that about every other time I see you. It still haunts my memories.
That's so funny.
Rent free.
Yeah.
Okay, so now for my Nate story. No, I'm
Sure,
just-
we'll have to. Yeah, not your most shiny top or Nate story. We'll have to make sure we circle back to the Monsters Ball. For sure.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
Because I didn't have that specifically on here. But I guess right now I'd like for each of you again to introduce yourself, talk about, if growing up you were involved in the arts in any aspect, that would be great to mention right now. And just kind of the fast track version to deciding to open a bar or a business and adding the live music kind of amenity to that. So I'll let you guys decide who would like to go first.
Want to flip a coin?
Flip a duck.
Sure.
Quack. I grew up in church choir. I did choir in school as well. Not all the years, but when I could, when it fit in my schedule. And then I kind of fell out of the arts whatsoever. Had my regular 9-to-5 job and other jobs that pretty much had nothing to do with arts or anything.
You were also in musicals.
I was in musicals as well, yes. I was really good in Fiddler on the Roof.
I believe you.
Yeah, I had to punch a guy.
Cool.
I had to punch a guy.
He went
It was
down.
Buzz Powers. It was Buzz Powers.
Was it really?
Yep. So,
Episode 1 legend.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
that's amazing.
He doesn't remember this, but I was just a little punk kid at the time. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, musicals, music, and then later in life, I started making beer. For a hobby, and I got a little too into it. A little too. I made a lot of beer at home and gave it away and drank it, of course. And we thought we'd start a brewery, and we did that. And we're about not quite a year into it, and my nephew was in a band in college, and he had all this equipment.
About Jordan being
Yeah.
in
Was
bands.
Beauty Killed the Beast was his band. It was death metal, the screaming thing. He was the screamer in the scream band.
Cool.
But he had the stuff, and he loved live music. I'm like, all right, you're in charge of this. And he got one of his friends that was still in the music business in the Sioux City area to start booking bands for us. And it took off. Before that, though, we did have a band that was amazing. It was a short lady, and then this tall, kind of scruffy looking guy, and then Joel, the drummer. So short and scruffy, which would be Shelly and her brother-in-law, Rod, and then Joel Fritz.
Yeah, I forgot we
Yeah.
were the first act.
The very first music act ever.
We had prizes. Too.
It
We
was
played
prizes.
games.
There was trivia. It was a spectacle.
We didn't know that many songs.
Yep.
It's not always about how many songs, it's crowd engagement.
Yes,
And I think
yeah.
our family was half the people in the entire place. Between
Our families,
between
yeah.
our families. Yeah, but it was an absolute blast, and I think they played again, and then we did. That's what kind of boosted us into maybe we should do live music more often, and we kind of dedicated it. Like, if we're going to do this, we have to do it every week. So that's why we got the guy to help book us music. Of course, he was in Sioux City, so that's quite a ways away. He didn't know all the contacts that were here in town, so I think we did that for 6 months, and then we switched over to having the Fort Dodge Fine Arts director start booking our music for us, which helped us a lot because she has a lot of contacts and a very sweet lady most of the time.
I thought you were going to flip your hair for a second.
I would have if it was
And things, it's almost 9 years later, or over 8 years later, we've had live music every single Thursday for almost 8 years.
Except Thanksgiving.
Except Thanksgiving, and then there's
Yeah.
a few times where the band had some car troubles and we couldn't find anybody at the last minute. So, but I think that's a handful of times over 8 years. So
Yeah.
that's
It's
just
really
think
been,
that's
we've been lucky.
400 bands or 400 performances, and we've been really lucky with that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
where we're at. And then we started doing other stuff on the weekends. We'd have bands here and there, whatever we need to do. So,
Yeah.
different events during the year, like St. Patty's Day or our tailgate party. We have more bands, and it's a bigger deal. So,
Yeah.
that's how kind of we started and where we're at now.
Yeah, well, and we're gonna dig into that a little bit more, but that was a good recap.
All right.
Did you practice that?
No.
'Cause that was really good. So Gena, let's hear from you now.
Let's see.
In the arts, growing up, were you involved in anything? Is kind of where we.
Yeah,
I was not.
Yeah.
You didn't.
actually-
No singing, no painting, no instruments, no nothing.
No,
What?
just a lover of
Appreciator.
music.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. Did a lot of concerts. My teenage and early years consisted of tons of concerts. So many I couldn't even tell you all of them anymore. And then later it started out as supporting bands and having them, friends of mine, perform at different venues around town, including the Eagles Ballroom and various bars around town with the support from Crave Tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kept growing and growing. And when the old Pee Wee's Pub had closed and they had the Rock Room down there, it was brought to my attention that it was empty and needed revitalizing. So
Okay, so the Rock Room was open prior, or was existed prior to you taking over Pee Wee's.
It did.
Did they have the stage and the live music back there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, they did. And it was actually called the Rock Room.
Okay.
And a funny story about that is I did not know that. The mural that was on the wall back there, the Mount Rockmore, which was done by Kevin Crimmins and Jammer and another individual. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I can see their signature down in the corner, but mainly Kevin, I believe. With that being there, I had named it the Rock Room, and then Kay, who had been the bartender there for 20 some years, she was relocating, and they had a little going away party for her. And that day when she came and gifted me and the actual original The Rock Room sign that had hung there. And I found out that day, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that it was called The Rock Room. So anyway, that was so cool. Like, I may have even cried about that a little bit.
That's awesome.
That she had gifted that to me.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it just made sense that when that place had opened or what became available, that I would take it over and bring it back, which was really cool to do. And to hear all the stories of people who are remembered playing in that room, or all of the fun that they had in that room and that whole place over the previous years.
Well, I imagine it connected people, created new groups, created new.
It did, and
music.
that's exactly with the jam sessions that we brought back, which ironically the jam sessions had originated here.
Prior to Pee Wee's?
Prior,
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I do
Yes.
remember that
Yeah.
now.
prior to us bringing them back at the Patty's Pub Rock Room, they used to be held here and through Chris Carr.
Yep.
That's right.
And
I remember being
so-
a teenager coming up here and watching Chris Carr play.
And it was off of his original jam that we brought that idea back down there. And it was really, really cool to see all of the new bands that formed from that, and or members who were added to existing bands. And then, of course, a lot of people know the story of how we had to close there. And then the Eagles here needed some help. And it was natural that we would come up here and try to help them and bring everything back again. And that's kind of cool for this next generation, because now I have a whole nother group and the next generation of people who share stories about how they used to play here and or how much fun they had here, and to bring it back for that next generation. So it's kind of neat to have it all come
Full circle.
Full circle
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah.
and for those of you, I can't imagine anyone that doesn't know this, but the jam happens the third Thursday of every month from September to May.
Yes.
Not August. Okay, September to May, third Thursday. And it's open to all levels of talent, ability, instruments. I mean, bring your instrument up. There's probably an amp you can plug into.
Yeah, there's someone playing
And
violin at the last one. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been pedal steel and
vocalists also. I
Yep.
mean, if you have an idea of what your chords are, there's someone definitely capable of.
Yeah, usually you can sit down with someone and be like, how about this one or this one or this one? You can find somebody that'll know one of those songs. You can get up and do your vocals.
Unless it's like, I don't know, Chicago or
Yeah,
Dave
yeah,
Matthews
yeah.
or I don't know.
Something too wild, yeah.
Led Zeppelin. I don't know. Some Led Zeppelin would be okay. Pink Floyd. Something
Yeah.
else like. Anyway.
But
yeah. So that's a quick synopsis of the jam, and then also I do want you to mention about the Monsters Ball, because that has longevity in the community. God, are you at 50?
This year,
be
I
15?
believe, is 15. Yes.
Wow.
15 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have they all been on the third floor? We are at Eagles Hideout right now. Did we mention
yeah,
that?
we did not mention that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, by the way. Yes.
Which is the second floor of the Eagles building. And
Yes.
the third floor consists of the Eagles ballroom.
Yes.
And there was 1, maybe 2 years that we had them down at Patty's. And I don't even remember the reasons why. But other than that, yeah, so you could say that at least 13 of them have happened in the Eagles ballroom.
Yeah.
Man, Patty's would have been packed.
Oh, it was, trust me.
One of my favorite things about the jams that were down at Patty's was like, and it's sad, it's like a bittersweet, but like the last one, it was so full. I went up and played like 2 songs because that's all there was time for because there were so many musicians there. And it was
Yeah.
so wild to see them all. But that was like kind of around the time I was starting my other podcast, and I remember like going in there just like I've never even met some of these people.
For
I
the
don't know.
Monsters Ball? Are you talking about?
The last jam, you know, and
Yeah.
it was wild. I mean, there was people in the streets, like there were
Yeah.
so many people there. It was wild.
It was a good time.
That sounds like a rave.
Yeah, I mean it was good, but again,
I
it
was
was
there. It was pretty wild. It was everywhere.
yeah, bittersweet. Yeah, but yeah, those jams. Yeah, there's a lot of my history that revolves around going to jams and things like that, and not just playing at them, but when I was younger, watching them. You know, I'd go to just watch them, and I do have like memories of coming up here to the old Chris Carr jams and watching them. You know, and I have memories of going down to Patty's, which I remember going down there. It's like it says Pee Wee's down here. It's like this place used to be Pee Wee's, and they had music. It's like I didn't know that, you know. And there's so much history of music in both buildings, and it's cool that you've been a part of both of them. You know,
On that Pee Wee's note, I did honestly consider naming that place, just naming it the Old Pee Wee's, because that's what everyone called it anyway. So
It's true. It's true. It's true.
that would have been a crazy marketing tactic, and it would have worked. I bet.
it would have.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's down the streets pop and go, but it hasn't been pop and go in 20 years.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
still
still
pop
pop and go.
Yeah.
It's always pop and go.
Something else on the jam too, I cannot leave out the jams that we currently hold and previously held in the Rec Room would not have happened without the help of Jeremy Ober and Mark Gales and Gene Walker.
Yeah,
so
for
it
sure.
wasn't all me. There's definitely a crew behind all of that. So, yeah.
Mark
Yeah.
Gales with sound, of course, and
Yes.
equipment.
Yeah.
And Jeremy does a lot of the lining up of the house band.
Yep.
and
You can listen to
setting that.
Jeremy on a previous episode that we did. He was
Yeah,
on
for the Reforge initiative.
Yep. Yeah, Gene Walker, great guy. I love him. Gotta throw his name out there again. What's up, Gene? He's
Sup?
I don't know. Gene's super fun. I just think about like some of these things about like having been able to sit down and talk to some of these people. It's just fun to hear like the history. I mean, like you go to these jams, you're like, okay, these guys are good at music. It's like, I don't think you realize these guys have been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years straight, like nonstop, doing things like helping organize jams. Like I've
So
played
that others
Yeah.
can shine. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been a house musician a couple times, you know, at jams that you've hosted, and it's such a fun thing. It's a fun thing to be able just to go to them and get up there and play, and you know, other people. You get to play with people that you don't normally get to play with, and
That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
And because so many of you guys would never get the opportunity to share that stage with some of these musicians if we didn't do these nights.
Yeah.
And to see the variety, you know, you have kids literally from like 14 years old to, you know, in middle 70s, the age.
yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really neat to see it. There was a teenager years ago, asked him how'd it go tonight, and he told me that it was the best night of his life so far.
Oh gosh, that's awesome.
And I was like, yep, that's why we do it.
I love that.
So
That's sweet. Yeah, it took me a long time to finally get the guts to go up and play with on stage with other people like that.
But
at
even
jams.
and even just attending and listening is fun too. Like you don't feel pressured to play, but just come on, check it out if you haven't. The last one will actually take place third Thursday of this month,
Yeah,
May. What is
May.
the date? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think it's the 15th.
I think you're right.
I have been on a roll going to jam nights and just watching because I mean, like I can play at them, but like there's so many people that are so good, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know, you guys are crushing it. I'm enjoying just sitting here, you know, and it's weird because like I feel like they're like the last 5 years of my life I've been playing so much music that I haven't actually sat down and just enjoyed it for so long, you know. And I have like this month I've had like, you know, not a whole lot going on, so it's like sweet, I'll just go watch shows, and it's been so fun to be able to just sit and watch people, you know, and I don't ever get that opportunity, it seems like.
I'm looking at, it is the 15th. And I'm also looking because the rest of this month at Shiny Top on Thursdays, Jake Schrott's playing, Rod Johnson's playing, Claudia Coltrane's playing,
Awesome.
Jeremy Ober is playing.
Sweet. Heck of
May
a lineup.
29th.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's a fun grouping too. Lots
Yep.
of, and another reason why I wanted to put the two of you together is because of everything we've just talked about, but also both of your establishments really lend itself to supporting a different variety of music. Like oftentimes a lot of the music you have here would not work at Shiny Top, on the Shiny Top, and vice versa. And so I think it would be.
I do want to say for people that are just general listeners, that's nothing against either establishment
No.
or
I think
any
it's a good thing.
Yeah, or any musicians that play at either place.
We know our place.
Yeah. It's just the way it works.
And that, again, that's why I think these two are so perfect together, because they understand that, and it's the best way you can support what you can support. So if you feel comfortable, I didn't want to be talking about this to put anything down, because I think it's only positive.
No, I just wanted to say, like, general listeners may just be like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, soccer moms don't drive sports cars for a reason. It's like that's like that whole thing.
Well,
So
have you ever been a soccer mom?
Never mind.
Briefly. Okay.
It was cold
grandma.
and windy out there. And
I was going to say, Gena would break that mold.
Don't get too jealous. I parked
I
next
drove
to you.
a monster truck then.
So anyway, I would like you guys to kind of talk about how you have found kind of your niche, I guess, is that something?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of ours came when we started having food, our pizza and our other food. But we there's no way we can charge a cover, because if a regular customer comes in on a Thursday, and I like, hey, I need $5 at the door. I'm like, I'm just coming in for pizza. I'm not coming in to listen to the music per se. I'll enjoy it, but that's not my purpose of coming in here.
Right, I'm hungry.
So we have to balance the restaurant with the bar, and they can still enjoy. I mean, we have the two different sides. But yeah, I mean, we've never charged a cover to get in Shiny Top, which also limits what bands we can have as well.
Right.
We can't have the bigger bands as much because it just costs too much. When we're not making money at the door, we have to completely make up all our costs on bands with extra sales.
Right.
So I'm jealous that you have the ballroom upstairs that you can have the really big bands at, and you have an area down here you can have bands.
It's more intimate. Yeah.
Yep, a little more intimate. So we're kind of pigeonholed into that, and it works for us. We've done very well with it, so I'm not upset about any of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what we kind of go for. We go for the smaller 1, 2, even 3 people bands up there. Every once in a while there's 3, but not too often.
Yeah.
It's usually 1 or 2, and we've really excelled at that, and that's where we like to stay.
Yeah.
And performers like the stage. I mean, I think the setup that you guys have built and continued to add to over these 9 years, moving it out of the bar side. Remember?
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, that was so small.
8 by 6 foot.
It was
8 foot and 6 foot. And I think we had a band of 4 up there one time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were up there like this. A little drummer.
It was so tight.
It was.
And now you have a lot more space, and you've added a little bit of house PA and some lighting and sound.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Absorbers.
it. People like it. Yeah. When we first moved to that room, we didn't have anything on the walls or the ceiling.
I think I told you I'm not booking
it was a
anything
box,
until you
yep.
fix
Yeah, you did. And guess what we did that weekend? We got the lift over and started putting up all these panels, which worked out. And I think now it sounds good. I think people really like how it sounds in there. So,
Absolutely.
it's worked out well.
Yeah, I mean, like the difference in venues, I will say that's one of my favorite places to go. I love going to watch music where I can like sit down and eat and talk with somebody and not have to like yell in their ear, like lean over and be like, just like scream in their ear to try to get them to talk. That's
Right.
one of my reasons I like going to Shiny Top, grabbing a pizza. It's not. Plus, it's like every Thursday. It's like, what are we doing? It's like, well, we're going to, who's at Shiny Top? We can always go to Shiny Top, grab a pizza, And so there's been times I've been there to see like, Matt Woods. I'm almost always there when Matt Woods shows up. So like, but yeah, the whole no cover at the door is also like a different beast for different people, because like there might be people from other towns listening to this like, what do you mean no charge at the door? Like it's just a different thing. So like as a musician, I never minded that, because you always everything was always worked out business wise with the musicians perfectly to make it all worth your while on both ends to do it that way. And I always thought that was one of the things that made Fort Dodge different, because I mean I've played a lot of shows in Des Moines where it's like, well, we have to charge a cover.
Right,
it's like,
right.
All right, so now you have like a different fee structure and things get
Well, and
wonky
that's a whole
sometimes.
nother conversation when you start talking about like how do you decide what you can afford and what you can pay and versus what people expect. And
I mean,
that's one of the nice things that you have going on with Thursday nights. It's not a weekend night. It's a 2-hour show.
Yep.
You provide a lot of the setup.
Yep.
So
Yep.
some of that can be a pass-through on their way to somewhere for
we
the
call
weekend.
it a school night. It's 7 to 9. We're done with live music at 9 o'clock. And
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
A lot of people are like, yep, I'm going home, going to bed, because it's Thursday. I have to get up and go to work tomorrow.
It's
So they don't
perfect.
get crazy. It's very comfortable, and people really seem to enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I think it's nice when families can bring their kids up to enjoy live music too, and I think that's totally appropriate in that setting.
Yeah, in that
as
place
well.
it is, because
Yeah.
We're not a crazy bar who.
No.
I mean, we don't sell a whole lot of shots.
No.
And, you know,
Right.
Red Bull. I go through a case of Red Bull, once a month. People are just slamming vodka Red Bulls. I mean,
That's a good
it's just a
point.
nice place where people mind their manners for the most part, and yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
still have the
pretty
12% ale?
No.
Oh, okay.
The 95 theses. No, it's fine.
That
That got people a little crazy.
that changed the
When we first
mood for a
opened, I
minute.
actually made our beer stronger, and then I realized Fort Dodge was not ready for that. Our beers were like 7-8%, and people were drinking them like they were Busch Lights. And no.
Get
can't.
get two
All
for
right,
ones.
let's go back to that recipe. We're going to change this a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna go
So,
5.
yeah, now they're all between 5 and 6 now.
Cool.
So it's like, yeah, people handle that a whole lot better because people just weren't used to it yet.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're all used to that 4% beer, that 4%.
Oh,
Drinking twice that. And a pint instead of a 12-ounce bottle. Or
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't
They-
help with sales.
No.
Well, and that,
That's exactly it. Yeah.
totally true.
I'd rather sell 3 pints than 2 pints, you know.
Right.
It works out.
You know, while we're talking about venues being packed, I remember going to Shiny Top for a St. Patty's there, and it was just wall to wall. Again, I think you had music. Yeah, it was great. It was just such a good time. I don't know.
Was that before the second room was open?
No, the second room was
'Cause
open.
I remember that, like, before.
That it might have been on like when it was on a weekend too, so it was
yeah.
like an
Every
extra
Saturday.
busy or whatever. You know,
Yeah. Had Roger Nets for several years.
that's what. Yeah, that's what
Yep.
was there.
He does great with the Irish or the Rowan McCartney.
Yes.
And and his whole family gets up there and helps out. It's awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's super fun.
He's committed
He is very
to being
committed.
Irish. That is for sure.
I love
And I
it.
saw him at Frontier Days, and he's doing this Old West gig. I'm like, how many people are you?
Yeah,
He has so many different people. So
Who am I booking?
that's cool.
So, and then here, you have a totally different vibe when it comes to live music. How did that come to be? Preference, context? And yet it's still really, really supported in the community.
Absolutely.
This time around, we're going a little bit more with the lounge vibe.
So, yeah.
It's not like a concert venue, stand up and bang your head kind of deal. It's more of a sit down adult. But people still get up and rock out and or dance around depending on what the music is. But definitely catering a little bit more to the more mature, older crowd when we can.
Yeah.
And when needed, if it's going to be more of a heavier show, or need people to be able to move around more, that's when we move it upstairs.
Right.
And use the actual ballroom. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime I have like somebody that would reach out, cold call me or something and have a certain style of music, the ballroom is where you think of to
Yeah.
send them to look.
So when you figured out you wanted to go lounge style this time around, like up here on the second floor of the Eagles, did that come from like when you had spent some time up here before, or what were you trying to do, or were you trying to like maybe recreate Patty's Pub in a different way, or what exactly, or like the music that was here, did you just kind of borrow your clientele that you already had contacts from there and bring it up here but in a different way, or what? How did that change?
it was the layout of the room and the feel of the room that was already here,
Oh yeah,
and the rolly chairs.
yes. Oh my gosh, that back room is
I
so
mean,
awesome.
chairs are
not
pretty
everywhere
awesome.
can say they have rolling
Right.
chairs anymore.
Dude, that back room is awesome. I still remember the first time I was back there. I was just like, man, this feels like there should be like waiters and candlelight and like people that have like towels on their arms showing you champagne or something back here. It's pretty awesome.
Swanky.
Well, and along that line, Peter, what a lot of people don't realize is before this building was the Eagles Club, it was the Elks Club.
Oh, cool.
And this second floor was a very nice higher end restaurant.
Whoa.
And so that's where a lot of this comes from, and a lot of the decor and stuff was from when it was
Those
the Elks
rolly
Club.
chairs totally scream old school steakhouse.
Yeah,
They just
absolutely.
do.
And I mean,
Yeah.
like, this is where you
And the tables.
some people will come here. They remembered their dad was an Elks member, or they came here. They brought their date here for prom.
Cool.
And that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're kind of borrowing from the history of the building to.
Absolutely.
That's super cool.
Let's do the same with Shiny Top.
Okay, Shiny Top's past. Well, it was built in the 1960s to be the Moose Lodge, actually, before the Moose Lodge moved down the road. And then it was something else for a while, and then it became Shiny Top.
It's a really good history.
Yeah, that building has a
It
lot
was-
of history
it was-
as well.
touch of
I'm
class.
just glad. Well, I wasn't there when they ripped out the carpet. I was told they didn't even wear face masks because I definitely would have.
When they ripped the carpet out?
Yeah.
Ew.
That was when we walked in. You can't
The
have
glitter.
both doors open. The smell was just atrocious. And
I
we're
was there
standing
with you. I can vouch for it.
My brother and I, our banker and our construction supervisor, and the banker's looking at two of us. He's like, "Are you freaking serious? This is what you spoke?" Construction guy's poking his head all aware, like, structurally, this building's great. So if you just rip it out, rip everything out, gut it.
The cooties?
Yeah, whatever. Time to get some
Or-
blades. Whatever it might be.
Yeah, this will work.
If you gut it completely, you will. We can start over, and this will be fine.
Cool.
I'm like, all right, let's do it.
And they did it.
And we looked at every building in town before that. That was our okay, let's do it.
It's worked out really well for
Nate,
you.
how, from the time that you acquired that building until you guys were actually open, was it maybe a year or
It was
something?
August to April, so about 9 months.
Okay. Ironically, Nate and I, the Patty's Pub and the Rock Room, that whole project was coming together. I was already there, but I hadn't completely taken over the place yet. But
Okay.
anyway, the two places happened at the same time. Nate
Ish.
and I were both doing them about the same
Yeah.
time.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Because we
funny.
were both dealing with the same building owners.
Yep.
Did you forget that part?
Oh, I forgot about. I remember dealing with the same owners.
Yeah.
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 Interesting.
Yeah.
Did forget about that.
Gosh, in my
So
brain,
long
the
ago.
timelines are so different. Like Pee-wees existed so much earlier than, like you Pee-wees
Right.
existed. Yeah,
Yep.
my timeline's a little skewed.
The old Pee-wees. New Pee-wees.
The old, yeah, I have to be
Right.
really clear.
The new old Pee-wees.
Yeah.
Peter Vogt, and then Terry Vogt ran the strip club. His
Yeah.
brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Distant relatives to the Votes. And we figured it out. So one day I'm like fourth cousins or something like that. Actually
Interesting.
moved.
Wow. Small world out there.
I actually
Yeah.
brought the two of you together today because you're siblings.
Well, here's another thing.
If you knew my dad.
We were next door neighbors for years as well.
Oh my God, are you really?
Yeah. 2 doors down.
That's
2
so
doors down.
funny.
2 doors down.
In Colville, on a dead end
Oh
road
my
in Colville.
God. Okay. Okay. How funny is that?
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Even
Small
better, I
world.
This
love
podcast
it.
was in years in the making.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh. We could take this
Yeah.
in a totally different
This is
direction.
wild.
Okay, so what have you learned over the years? What doesn't work?
Yeah.
What doesn't work?
What's a challenge? What doesn't really?
Well, it's probably different for
Yeah.
each of us. And
Yeah.
we've discovered over the last few years, big bands don't work at our place. We used to have quite a few of them every once in a while. But
Especially when you're not charging a cover.
when you're not charging cover, and we can only serve so much. Only so much. People sit down. We're not a standing room only type of place. People go sit down. We
Right.
have servers that go serve them.
Yeah, you need those
And
paths.
we can only sell so much, yeah. And our kitchen, our layout is not ideal because we didn't know where we were going to be in so many years when we first designed this. We thought we were just going to be that little building, and we've expanded so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'd rather have the smaller groups, 1, 2, or a small band, and do that because that's what we do best. We only have one server well, so I mean, bartender can only make so many drinks. You can't even throw another bartender back there very often because they just get in each other's way. It just doesn't work.
Right.
So we have a sales maximum that we can actually sell it an hour or a day or whatever. And when we try to price these bigger bands, it just does not work for us. We end up losing money on it, and we can do that a couple times a year when we have a celebration.
Or maybe get them
whatever.
outside. Like
Or
sometimes
get 'em
you do a
outside.
street
Yep,
thing.
Yep, and that's a celebration, like our St. Patty's Day or our tailgate party
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
We can do that, and it works out a little bit better. But on a normal basis, those bands just cost too much for us to recoup those expenses.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Amen.
Right? It's tough.
I mean, maybe
It's tough.
maybe in that aspect it's the same for you. I don't know.
Something else that doesn't work is to ever try to have a band on the Iowa Super Bowl night, the Iowa State game.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's showing up.
I can't tell you how many of those I've played with a TV behind me, and people are just like, just right over your head, like 3 feet over your head. They're just looking at it. It's like, man, we really got this crowd captive. No, we don't. No, we don't.
Actually, we don't at all.
We just played Should Have Been a Cowboy and nobody clapped. All right, never mind. Never mind.
When I was playing, when Wheelhouse was a band, we had a show in Cedar Rapids the night before the Iowa State game, and we walked in and there was like 12 people there, and we're like, okay, this will probably pick up a little bit, right? No, they kept leaving and nobody kept coming in. By the time we started, I think there were 3 people there. After about 45 minutes, the bartender just came up with our money and said, thank you. Like,
even the night before.
Like, just go home. I feel bad for you guys. Like, oh, that was the worst night. And then we didn't even know until we got there. We're like, oh, shit, it's Iowa State weekend.
I've had several musicians come up to me and say, thank you for not having TVs in the music side.
Yeah.
How many times that, like, people are watching over their head, or, bands up here and the TV's over there, and they're all looking to one side.
Completely looking the other way.
And it's just like, thank you. I mean, we have TVs on in the other room, but that's a different room. And people appreciate that quite a bit. So the musicians do, the artists do.
For sure.
I love it when you can play a song and then people start, like, cheering. It's like, man, I crushed that solo. It's like, now they're watching, the Hawkeyes play or whatever it is. Like, whoops, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, or it's a not appropriate time in the song.
Yeah.
They all-
Like going nuts.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yes, exactly like that.
How'd you get me to sing? That tricked me.
Nope, I knew that
You
would
too.
happen.
Yep. Those lessons you guys had to learn, like, learning them the hard way is, like, rough, especially in a business environment. But I think having something like the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association to kind of just lean against sometimes, too, where it's like, you've seen this as well, where, like, if a venue came up to you and, like, do you have advice? It's like, well, maybe don't run a show on Iowa State game day. Like, you've seen this stuff, too, so you can actually kind of advise some new businesses or people that are trying to venture into this or things like that. So I think that's one of the things that, could be beneficial. Really, you guys tend to lean on each other. I mean, you guys, I'm not trying to say, like, you're competitors. You guys are both in the same industry, but you guys are buddies, so it's like one of those fun things where it's like you kind of just, I'm sure, like, you guys have made a mistake and you just phone them over and you're like, hey, did this happen? And it's like, yeah, I mean, that'll happen.
Watch out for this guy.
Yeah, that'll happen, I guess. All right, well, we won't, neither of us will do that again, click, and you just.
Well, and another advice thing that I would, and I talk about this a lot in the episodes, is the calendar. And I'm constantly reminding people if it's not a location where I book for, like, we need. If we don't have your information, I can't put it on the calendar. Mm-hmm. So I'm sending reminders all the time to our members. We're working on getting the 25-26 season for, like, all of the long-time members, like the Carl King and the Symphony and the musicals and from the school districts and all of those things. And then you start looking at, okay, when's the celebrations? When are the theater productions? When are the, because why would you book something
on something
when
where
there's
it's like,
already 6 other events booked? And so I forget that I have to constantly remind that because it's not on everyone's radar, and that's a challenge for me because if I know it, everybody knows it. And it's not a negative thing. It's a good thing. Like,
and that's not saying.
Please.
That's also not saying if you're like, okay, it's Friday night and the Shiny Top's got a show on Friday for some reason. It's just like, well, now nobody else can have it. It's not like that.
No, not at all. But like, you're not going to book a live music act on Celebration.
Downtown Country Jam. You're not going to be whatever.
Or Hawkeye Theater shouldn't book something for the same weekend as the musical at Senior High.
Yes.
Those types of things.
Yeah, helping coordinate some of that is one of my favorite things.
This is early when I was talking to Jeremy over one time, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know how tonight's going to be because these people have this, these people have this, these people have this. He's like, don't worry about it because they'll go to all of them. They will go to each one.
Yep.
So they're going to come here for a while. They go to that one, and they'll go to that one.
I've done it.
One. I went to 3 in one night with Shiny Top because I don't have to be there, but I was there.
Yeah.
And then I think we went to another bar for another band. Might have been Community for whoever. And we ended up at the Jam at the end of the night.
Or was it Monsters Ball? Because I remember one night.
I was at the Jam.
Okay.
I know it was the Jam, but I remember I went to 3 different in one night, and the 6 people with me, we all went.
Yeah.
We had a blast.
Right.
I mean, just to have that much music on a Thursday night in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and they were all great acts, and everybody was just having fun.
Yeah, sometimes once you're out, and I'm going to make all the stops.
Yep. What else is going on tonight? I mean, I think we space our events out too. A lot of Thursdays, people will come to Shiny Top, and then all right, it's about 8 o'clock. Let's get up to the Jam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they come. Then they come up to the Eagles here, and it works out well.
And sometimes a lot of the musicians that play
Yeah.
there will then be
Yeah,
like, oh,
let's
God,
get
I'll
on up
stop
here.
up there too on my way
Yep.
out of town.
Yeah,
so that's been a nice funnel.
It works very
of
well
too.
together, I think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. Especially you guys, like, you're in downtown. I mean, you guys, it's just far enough where, like, it's not like you can't walk it, but it's basically walking
It
distance.
is. It's what, 6 blocks, I think.
But the other thing is, like, it's real easy to find parking too. So it's not like parking's an
Yep.
issue if you want to drive your car.
Parking's
over
an
here.
issue everywhere, but we just accept it.
I don't know. There's a lot of parking spaces around here at nighttime. On the street during the day,
Well, yeah, you're right. It
not quite as
depends on the
much.
time.
2 hours.
yeah. Yep.
It just depends on the time. Okay, so let's kind of wrap up with where can people find out information about what's going on in your locations? And I also want to mention that Nate is also, you may not know this, and this may send you off your chair, the vice president of the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association.
Wow. Wow.
I forgot about that when we did our intro. He's a president in training under Steve
Oh.
Kirsten.
The Veep.
I hope he never retires. He
No.
does a great job.
I gave him a date that he couldn't even consider
Okay.
until that date.
Okay. Good. Good.
So, yeah,
So,
talk about what you have coming up.
The
how
best
they
way
can
to find
you.
us is on Facebook.
Yeah.
It has all the tools on it, and even if you're not on Facebook, you can still go to Facebook and look up our page and look at our events. We're also on the radio every Tuesday with the Lunch Bunch on 97,
And then
and
Wednesdays.
Shelly on Wednesdays with Jay Thomas. What time is that? I catch the on Facebook.
Yeah,
later.
I think it's like at 8 o'clock.
I'm definitely not catching it at 8 o'clock in the morning. not awake at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You got a couple of radio promos. Those are fun too.
Yeah.
I talk to Todd every now and then, and he'll talk about like, yeah, I swung in on that
Scott
one.
Kirkhart does it with Todd
Yep.
a lot of the times, and he
On Tuesdays?
on Tuesdays,
Yeah.
and like Scott loves to be in front of the camera, the mic, the whatever.
Yep.
He is
What?
He is not shy in front of anything. So those guys have a really good time with that. I'm on with Josh Mason up there. So
Of course. The Wednesday spot that they sponsor is through Fort Dodge Fine Arts also. So they provide us the opportunity to share during their time slot everything else that's going on with our members
Cool.
too, which is really awesome.
because there's so much going on in town.
Oh,
Like,
gosh, it's crazy.
Let's get people out there.
Yeah.
I hate it when I hear there's nothing to do. I'm like,
Dude.
there is so much to do.
Dude, my favorite is
That's-
there's like multiple podcasts about music and arts and things in Fort Dodge, and that's probably only like a third of the stuff to do in this town, which is
Yeah.
mind blowing. I can't believe how I don't
Because
know.
on average, how many art and culture events are there?
60.
Yes,
60
every single
every
month.
month.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Free
I wish there was a
stuff
place
to
you could
do.
Most
find
of
that
the time
information
free.
out.
Yeah.
You can,
Oh,
Nate.
really?
Thanks
Where?
for bringing that up. FDFineArtsAssociation.org.
That is
There's a community calendar there.
Yes,
You can check it
there
out.
Fine
is.
Arts.
And it's
.org.
constantly changing, constantly.
Yep,
So
always
how about for
updated.
you, Gena? What do you have coming up? Where can people find you online?
Well, Nate just stole my number one answer, and it was going to be Fort Dodge Fine Arts.
Sorry, Gina.
All good.
Oh, I love that.
No, actually, there, and of course, again on Facebook, and on Fridays we do the regional rock hour.
Yep.
On 92
yeah.
Rock, and Josh does a really good job on 92 of helping to promote and make sure everybody knows what we've got going on for any of our events.
Awesome.
So those are two of the best places to find our information. And my little board up here on the wall. When you come here in person, you can read it.
Yes.
Yes.
And you still do some poster prints
Oh,
that
yeah.
are around downtown and
Yep.
things
I
like
love
that.
it.
So
Paper
people can-
still works.
I
It's-
love posters.
It works better than you think it does.
Yep.
That's all. I get that. Like, I actually work for a digital marketing company, but at the same time, I love seeing paper stuff. Like, I wish you could still like staple it. You remember that one post over? I can't remember where it was at, but it was over.
Like a light post or
yeah,
something?
and there's just like a billion things.
South 22nd Street by
Yeah.
B&L. That thing. That thing's standing up on its own.
Yeah, the staples
but-
are holding it up.
That would come from my need for the posters would be my background, which was I'm a graphic designer in the printing business for many
Cool,
years before I
cool.
was in the tattoo and bar business, which I still do some, but
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah, I love seeing the flyers. I love seeing that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I always look at it every time I come in and out here. I look at your little board with the posters on. I'm like, who's going to be here? You know? And,
Right.
I mean, I don't know. So,
Well, and one more thing we've mentioned this I think in a previous one, but Shiny Top's artwork changes every 3 months down there too, and 95% of the time that's
Local.
for sale and
Yeah.
a local artist.
Very local.
So make sure you're checking that out. That directly and indirectly supports both Shiny Top and Fort Dodge Fine Arts with a small commission
the
that we
artist.
take. And
Yes.
but then the artist is also,
That's
I mean,
cool.
we take a very small commission based on the sales, and that's for wall repair and credit card transactions, and then a little bit of a brokerage fee.
Yeah, that's fun. I love it.
But that's been a really fun partnership too, and I think it's fun to
Teamwork.
stop in there and then all of a sudden, it's like a wholly
That's new.
Teamwork
different
makes
room.
the dream
Very
work.
sad day. Like once every 3 months is when we switch it out. It's a very sad day when the old artist takes one down, and we have nothing up there for a day. Everybody's like, "Aw." I mean, the
Yeah.
staff is like, "This is so boring."
Yeah, you don't realize how much. Yeah, it really spruced the
It
place
adds-
up.
then
It adds so
they're all
much.
like, ah.
Yep.
It's like the Big Lebowski, the dude's rug, really tied the room together.
really-
Tied the room together.
Yeah,
It
whatever
definitely
it
did.
was.
I love it.
Nate did a lot of research on that background wall color.
I
too,
did. I
So,
really did.
Yeah. What color makes any art pop?
Yep. Neutral gray.
I was going to say Battleship Gray.
There you go.
It's a very
close.
similar, very
Slightly darker than
similar.
Battleship Gray. It's neutral gray.
Yeah.
So, do we want to do embarrassing stories this episode? I already let mine out of the bag, but do you guys have any like fun stories about like an event that happened and something embarrassing happened,
Or it could
like
be to somebody else if you want to bust them.
yeah, or we're at a show, and this guy got caught picking his nose or something on stage, like whatever it is, you know.
Mine are so great, or so plentiful, and I embarrass myself daily. So
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
But a place where people feel comfortable to come and just share their music and their time and their talents and be able to do it with people that actually appreciate what they're providing for the community and for their customers. And man, I had no idea all the connections that were already there
Yeah, I didn't either.
for you guys, but we are always happy to highlight our supporters. And thank you so much for agreeing to sit down. This is both of your first podcasts,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being amazing, how was it?
7.
So you
She's
might.
going to be more on.
I'm not good at math.
I'm not good at that. I think you momentarily appeared on another podcast, but it was off
was like-
mic, off, yeah, just like all right, hi guys, and bye.
Yeah.
And Peter.
And Peter,
Actually, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But I was comfortable with the people that I was with too, so that
that
helped a lot.
helps.
So
FDT, never as bad as you think it's going to be.
somebody needed to work that lyric into that song.
I know it.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
8.5 stars.
All right.
Oh, yay.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I gotta say, just from a musician standpoint, like I've played. We had talked about it before, and I talked about it a little bit on the podcast. But I've played. I would say several hundred shows in the last like 6 or 7 years. So I've been to a lot of different types of venues, playing a lot of different types of music, and you guys are all very vital to what. Just allowing somebody to go out and express themselves and allowing people to go enjoy that. We talked about the different types of music you guys have. It's wild the types of bands that Fort Dodge can host, because it's not just singer-songwriters and it's not just country music like a lot of people might see or think from the outset. I mean, you've had a plethora of types of music
All
there,
different types,
and
yeah.
and that's not normally what you have here, but you have had singer-songwriters and people like that here to play as well. So it's awesome that you guys both have venues that have found your market and make people happy in town, but also have the ability to expand yourselves into different horizons that aren't necessarily, what you guys normally go for. And I guess as a musician, I just want to say thank you very much for doing what you do, because it would be boring if there wasn't places to go play music or watch
would
music,
be.
honestly, because that's what I've been doing a lot of lately,
It
is
would be
watching.
boring.
So
It would be boring. Yeah, thank
It
you.
all works together.
appreciate it. Anything else on the list here?
No.
We're done. All right.
did
Episode 8 is done, and we will be back next month with another episode and a new
And a
theme song.
jingle,
Yeah, a little
yes.
jingle. I can't wait. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh, crap, I didn't get my jingle in, I'm sorry. Send it in anyways. We'd still like to hear something. It may not get on an episode. It might. You never know what's going to happen. So the jingles I've heard are amazing. Again, everybody's so freaking talented. It blows my mind. It's wild to just be... a fly on the wall watching all this happen. So
that's fun. Thank you for being
cool.
a part of it.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Shine on.